Wow, such a cute baby.
Upon receiving the news that my best friend had given birth, my husband and I headed to the maternity hospital. A newborn baby is incredibly small, making you feel the preciousness of life. On the other hand, my heart was filled with resentment. Even though the baby was very adorable, I couldn't take it anymore. When we returned to the room my best friend is staying at, my husband smiled broadly and said,
The baby was really cute.
In response to his words, my best friend smiled happily and said, "Thank you."
and then my husband turned to me with a smile and asked,
Hey, didn't you think so too? The baby was so adorable.
Yes, the baby just looked like you.
Both my husband and my best friend froze at the same time. With that, I delivered my final announcement. My name is Sophia and I'm 29 years old. I studied economics at university and I currently work at my parents' company. Our family has been running the company since my grandfather's time, and now my father is the CEO. Eventually, my husband Theo will take on the role of CEO. I met Theo about 4 years ago. Originally, he was a business partner of my company, but we had no contact whatsoever. However, by chance, we ended up working together on a project, and we hit it off. Being the same age, we could speak our minds as equals. Due to my title as the CEO's daughter, I was always kept at a certain distance by those around me. For me, someone like him who treated me normally was very precious.
Sophia, even though you're the CEO's daughter, you don't have any dignity at all.
Before we started dating, he said that to me. Normally, if someone said something like that, you'd think they're making fun of you. But I was happy to be treated as an equal employee.
It's the first time someone has said that to me, like that. Thank you.
Oh, I thought you would get angry if you were called like that.
I wanted to be treated as an employee, not as the CEO's daughter. So, well, I'm glad I'm here then.
There.
This marked the beginning of a deepening relationship between me and Theo. We naturally progressed into a romantic relationship, and he proposed on our second anniversary. I never expected to get married so soon. I remember feeling both happy and very surprised. After Theo proposed to me, I immediately told my best friend Luna.
Luna, this is crazy. What should I do? Theo proposed to me.
What? Really? That's great.
I still can't believe it. Am I really good enough for him?
You deserve it. He truly loves you.
Luna and I went to the same middle school, and even though she knew I'm the CEO's daughter, she never treated me differently. She didn't act strangely or suddenly become closer just because I was the CEO's daughter. She always treated me honestly. When I started dating Theo, she was the first person I told. She has met Theo with me a few times, and Luna often praises Theo as a wonderful person. It's really heartwarming when your loved ones get along well. Regarding the proposal, it seemed like Luna was genuinely happy. 2 years have passed since Theo and I got married, and we still don't have any children. That's because there's not much intimacy between us as a couple, even on a regular basis. It seems Theo's work is very busy and he often works late on weekdays. On the contrary, my work is not so busy and I can usually go home on time. Cooking dinner after work became my daily routine. One day, I received a call from Theo. When I answered, he said with an apologetic tone,
Sorry, Sophia. I'll be late again today, so I don't need dinner.
What? I've already started cooking, though.
Sorry about that, but there's no other choice, right? I can't go home early.
Well, you can eat when you get back, right?
No, my team members are also working overtime, so I'll eat something with them. In times like this, I have to treat them as their boss. Besides, I need to work hard to succeed your father, right?
Well, that might be true, but
Anyway, I'll be late. You can go to bed early.
With that, Theo hung up without waiting for my reply. The sound of the call ending only increased my irritation. His way of speaking made me angry. I always ask him to tell me early if he doesn't need dinner. And why has there been so much more overtime since we got married? Back when we were dating and right after we got married, Theo always came home early. But in the past year or so, he started coming home much later, and we often don't even see each other on weekdays. I do want to have children soon, but it's probably not the right time now. It seems like Theo doesn't feel that way either. On weekends, he either sleeps at home or goes out on his own. We hardly have any time together as a married couple, and my dissatisfaction has been growing. Then, one day, I received a message from Luna, and we decided to meet up after a long time. I waited for her at our usual cafe, and she arrived a bit late.
Sorry for being late. I was a bit rushed before leaving home.
It's totally fine. I wanted to talk to you about some things.
What? Did something good happen?
No, quite the opposite. Lately, Theo and I haven't been getting along at all. We're just drifting apart.
Is that so? It's rare for you to say something like that about Theo.
Indeed, I had never complained about Theo before. But now, I felt so frustrated with his attitude that complaints came out naturally. Even though I finally got to meet my best friend after a long time, the fun atmosphere was ruined. So I forcibly changed the subject.
How about you, Luna? How have you been lately? You called me out after such a long time, so did something happen? How about you, Luna? How have you been lately? You called me out after such a long time, so did something happen?
Oh. Actually, there's something I wanted to tell you.
Oh, what's that? Have you got a boyfriend?
Well, actually, I'm pregnant.
Huh?
My mind spun at lightning speed. Luna's words left me utterly perplexed. What does she mean? Luna doesn't even have a boyfriend yet. And yet she's pregnant? But now that I look closely, her belly does seem to be showing. She must have sensed my confusion. She quickly put on a smile and began to explain.
Sorry for surprising you, but I'm 7 months pregnant now.
For real? Who's the father?
Well, I'm not planning to get married.
What do you mean? Do you know who the father is?
Yeah, but it's a bit complicated. We won't get married, but he'll be paying child support, so it's okay.
Is that so? I don't want to interfere if you're okay with it, though.
Even with child support, raising a child alone won't be easy. I couldn't help but think that if she knew who the father was, and had feelings for each other, maybe they should consider being together. That's what I thought. But it must have been a decision she had thought long and hard about. So I decided to support her decision. There was no point in blaming her, or giving her a lecture now, as it would only make her more anxious.
With that conviction in mind, I held Luna's hand with a smile.
You've already made up your mind, haven't you?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to worry you.
It's okay. I'm just worried about you. If there's anything I can do, just let me know.
Thank you, and I'm sorry.
Don't apologize anymore.
Despite being pregnant, Luna seemed to have a dark expression on her face. I couldn't understand since I hadn't experienced it myself, but perhaps pregnancy wasn't just about happiness. As her best friend, I would do whatever I could to support her. I decided to wait for Theo to come home that evening and tell him about Luna's pregnancy. After he finally came home past 11 p.m., I immediately brought up the topic.
Theo, Luna is pregnant.
Oh, really?
Aren't you more surprised? She's pregnant.
Well, that's great news, right? Luna is finally going to be a mother.
Well, the thing is, it seems like she's decided not to marry the father of the baby. She told me it's a bit complicated.
Oh, I see. Well, people have their reasons, and maybe we shouldn't pry too much.
At that moment, I felt a strange unease. Whenever I talked about Luna, Theo had always been attentive and willing to listen. But today was different. He didn't seem interested in the big news of her pregnancy. In fact, he appeared to be avoiding it. Even though Theo was supposed to be close to Luna, why was he acting so distant? I thought he would be more surprised or happy, but he wasn't. The next day, Theo left home early in the morning. Since I had the day off work and nothing else to do, I decided to buy a baby shower gift for Luna online. Unfortunately, my smartphone ran out of battery at an inconvenient time, so I decided to turn on the desktop computer that Theo usually uses. It seemed to be in sleep mode, and several tabs were still open. Without much thought, I decided to check the open tabs. Among them, there was an email folder. I didn't know Theo uses his email on his computer, so I got curious. I kept scrolling down. And then, among the senders, there was a name I recognized, Luna.
Luna?
For some reason, Luna's name was in the email folder. With a sense of foreboding, I opened the email and found myself holding my breath at its contents. What was written there convinced me that they were having an affair. They exchanged words like, "I love you and I can't wait to see you," conversations that made my eyes widen in disbelief. It must have been about 6 months ago, probably when she found out she was pregnant. There were a massive number of emails from that time. In the next line, I widened my eyes in shock. I got pregnant. It's your child, Theo. In response to this message from Luna, Theo had replied with kindness. He was happy about the pregnancy, but said that divorce was not an option. He mentioned that he would become a CEO someday and would provide as much money as needed for the child. He also expressed a desire to continue their relationship as it was. The moment I saw these exchanges, my emotions turned into pure anger. I had been deceived by Theo and Luna. The trust I had built up with them over time crumbled in an instant. Unforgivable, to think they had been cheating behind my back. What did they think I felt when I heard about Luna's pregnancy? I knew Luna was in a difficult situation, but I had genuinely been jealous. I wanted to get pregnant, but Theo and I were growing apart. Even with my jealousy, I had celebrated my best friend's pregnancy. And yet I had already been betrayed. From that day on, I decided to gather evidence of their affair.
I hired a private investigator to look into Theo's background, in addition to examining their email exchanges.
It turned out that Theo was visiting Luna's apartment, where she lived alone, almost every day.
On weekends, they would even travel to a neighboring state's shopping mall to buy baby items. In the photos I received from the investigator, I saw Theo and Luna happily choosing baby clothes with smiles on their faces. Despite being filled with anger, for some reason, I couldn't stop crying. I should have been the one in this position with Theo. But it was too late to think about that now. I had already decided to seek revenge on them. After gathering enough evidence, I was about to confront them, but then I received a message saying, "Luna's in labor." Considering the situation, I decided to postpone confronting them about the affair and instead wait for Luna to give birth. The next day, I received a message from Luna saying, "I gave birth safely."
Theo immediately suggested, "Let's go see her." So, armed with evidence, I went with Theo to the maternity hospital where Luna was admitted.
Confronting them about the affair right after childbirth would make me seem heartless, but I didn't want to back down. Guided by Luna, Theo and I headed to the neonatal unit. There, several newborn babies were lying, and Luna pointed to one of them.
That's my baby. A bit on the small side, though.
Wow, such a cute baby. You did great, Luna.
It was incredibly painful. But once the baby was born, I forgot all about it.
Mothers are amazing.
On the other hand, my heart was filled with hatred. Even though the baby was very adorable, I couldn't take it anymore. When we returned to the room Luna was staying at, Theo smiled broadly and said, "The baby was really cute."
In response to his words, Luna smiled happily and said, "Thank you."
Then, Theo turned to me with a smile and asked, "Hey, didn't you think so too?"
The baby was so cute, right?
Yes, the baby just looked like you.
Huh?
Theo and Luna froze simultaneously with expressions of shock. He managed to force a smile on his tense face and said, "Hey, what are you talking about?" "That's weird to say that I look like the baby."
It's not weird at all, I replied. I already know that you two have been cheating and that Theo is the father of the baby.
My words left both of them speechless, especially Luna, whose face turned pale in an instant, and she started trembling uncontrollably. I took out the evidence I had gathered and presented it to them. Their faces visibly lost color.
Theo, are you still going to deny it even after seeing this? Are you gonna play innocent?
Well, no. It's just that we only had that one time.
So what? Even if that's true, it's a fact that Luna got pregnant from that one time, isn't it?
I ignored Theo and turned my gaze towards Luna. She sensed the cold look and hastily apologized.
I'm sorry, Sophia. I never meant for this to happen. I did like Theo, but I never thought I'd get pregnant.
I don't care. Cheating, having a relationship, getting pregnant with Theo's child, those are all facts.
I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. I have no intention of forgiving you.
Luna was sobbing uncontrollably, but I couldn't forgive her. They had done this to themselves. I sternly told them, "Both of you will be paying me compensation. It doesn't matter if there's a child or not. You will pay the compensation in full."
I will also report this to your parents, and I'm divorcing Theo, so you won't be the next CEO. From now on, you two can do as you please.
With those words, I left the hospital room. I went straight to a lawyer's office and requested compensation and divorce proceedings. Afterward, Theo's guilt was recognized and the divorce was finalized. Theo and Luna were ordered to pay compensation separately in a lump sum. I thought they might get married, but their parents were furious. Marriage was not allowed, and Luna was taken back to her parents' home. Her parents took care of the child, and Luna had to work day and night to repay the debt she had incurred with the compensation. As for Theo, he used to be lazy at work because he thought he would be the next CEO, saying, "I'll quit eventually," to those around him. Because of that, he was widely seen as irresponsible within the company, and there would be no promotions in his future. Theo and Luna haven't seen each other since then. They truly brought this upon themselves, and I can't help but feel they got what they deserved. As for me, I continue to work diligently every day. After divorcing Theo, I became a candidate for the next CEO, and I'm working hard to meet the expectations of those around me. I want to repay my parents for the worry I caused them by succeeding in my career. Marriage isn't everything. I will seize happiness in my own way.